Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about something super fun and exciting. We're going to be talking about my engagement ring. So Graham and I got engaged around 2 weeks ago now, and I had asked you guys on my Instagram to throw your questions about my engagement ring, and I was going to answer them on YouTube. So we're going to do a really nice close-up so you guys can see what we're talking about, and then we're going to jump just right into the questions. Okay, so hopefully that close-up gives you a good idea of what my ring looks like. I think it's the most beautiful thing in the world. Like, I cannot stop staring at it. It is so insanely perfect. And we're just gonna dive into the questions. So I'm gonna kind of put all the questions here so you can see them, but a very common one is, did you help with the design? Did you tell Graham what you wanted? So long story short, yes, Graham and I did design the ring together. He will say it's more me than him because I knew exactly what I wanted, honestly. That's why I kind of jumped in on the designing aspect. What actually ended up happening was I originally wanted this ring from Carats, which is the company that makes this band that I wear kind of like every day. They're a wonderful company out of LA. They're a sustainable jeweler. They use only lab mined diamonds, which I really like. And the ring that I wanted originally from them was just an east-west emerald, just like with regular prongs, and then, you know, just thin gold band, call it a day. And then one day I saw this ring online that looked like this one, half bezel, and it was just so beautiful. I'd never seen anything like it, the east-west and like a half bezel. I didn't know you could do that. And I approached Graham that day and I was like, have you bought my engagement ring yet? And he was like, no, why? And I was like, okay, because I changed my mind. I want something else now. And I proceeded to explain it to him. Little did I know, Graham already bought me that ring from Carats and had to return it. I feel so bad. I honestly did not think that he had already purchased my ring because he is such a good actor. Like, I didn't suspect for a second that he had. And the fact that he kind of just like rolled with the punches and was like, whatever, I'm gonna return it and we'll figure it out. I did say to him, if you did already purchase the Carats one, that is totally fine. I love that ring. I've wanted it for a while, so like, it's not a big deal. I love that ring. I'm gonna be happy if you get it for me. And he was like, no, like, I haven't bought it yet. I'm like, okay, perfect. And then it did take a little convincing to try to get him on board with me helping design the ring. He, I think, thought I was gonna be disappointed with not having like that whole surprise aspect, but I kind of told him I am so much of a control freak in certain things, and this is like the kind of thing where I would be like, what's the ratio? What's the clarity? What's this? Like, the questions that I know to ask, I just know that he wouldn't know to ask them. So I would feel a little kind of like anxious about that. And then just the idea of knowing that like it was in the works really helped me kind of calm down. Ever since we started designing the ring together, the whole experience for me personally just felt way more enjoyable. I was no longer like pestering him, being like, when are you proposing? Because I'm like, okay, it's gonna happen. It's just a matter of time, and I can kind of just like, relax now, you know? So I did help design the ring, long story short, and it is exactly what I want, and I'm like so obsessed with it. Okay, this is a bold question, but we're gonna answer it. How much did it cost? I don't fault you at all for asking that question. Honestly, it's such a weird process because especially when we first started, because I was so involved, I got to see kind of like the prices of some things, and it really kind of puts into perspective for you what you can afford in your budget and like some things that you need to compromise on and what is most important to you. So the price for this ring, I'm not going to give the exact price because I think that's a little personal and tacky and just like not good for him, but I will say that it was over 5 and under 10. So that leaves a lot of room for you to imagine how much it cost. This person says, not a question, but I absolutely adore the East-West Emerald. It is so unique and elegant. Thank you so much. Honestly, I've been wanting an East-West Emerald for a while now, and they've definitely been popping up more and more all over social media. They've been getting more popular, but I love like how unique and timeless they are while still having like a really cool flair to them. It's really modern and really timeless at the same time, and I just really love the look of it. One of the reasons why originally I didn't think of this style when I was first thinking of engagement rings is because I don't like love my fingers. I don't think they're like very like long and elegant, and I wanted something that would like elongate them in a sense. And then I kind of just realized, I'm like, am I choosing a ring because I want my fingers to look like longer and more slender, or am I picking a ring based on something that speaks to me, something that I love, something that I love the aesthetic of, that I know is like very me at its core? And that's when I kind of realized, I'm like, okay, who cares if this doesn't make my finger look longer? I love the style and the shape and like the uniqueness in it. It is so insanely perfect. Someone said, inspiration, what you knew you for sure wanted incorporated, what inspired the style? And I'm gonna tie another question into that one because they kind of go hand in hand. Someone asked me, is that the Mokuine ring? I think that's how you pronounce that company, I can't remember. Mokuine. So to that second question, no, but I did base it off that ring. So basically the story goes, a day I went to Graham and told him I changed my mind. It's because I saw this beautiful ring on Pinterest, managed to find out where the ring was from. It's from this company in New York called Mokuine, and it's like the most breathtakingly beautiful, stunning ring I've ever seen in my life. Mind you, it was in like a 4-carat diamond or something like that and was $98,000. I was like, okay, this is not happening. Obviously, I personally didn't want a diamond that was extremely large either, honestly, but the aesthetic of that ring was like what I really wanted, and I knew that if I used that as my inspiration, I could get something very close but very personal made somewhere where they do custom jewelry. So to answer both questions, I kind of modeled the ring after this Mokuine ring and tailored some things to my liking. But when I saw that ring, I really just like knew in my heart and soul that that was it. It was exactly what I wanted. It was just the coolest thing I'd ever seen. If you had to pick another style, what would it be? Aside from that original story I told you guys where I originally wanted an East-West just with like a regular setting, I recently saw this girl on Instagram who I follow. She got an emerald full bezel engagement ring. Emerald, not cut, but emerald, like actual green emerald. If I were to get an emerald, that's the kind I would want because it almost looked like cloudy and vintage, and it was so beautiful. I'll see if I can find it. I'll put the photo up here. So she got this ring custom made, and if I had to choose anything else, it would 100% be that. Someone asked random, but how did he know your ring size? Just based on the fact that we designed it together. This is another plus. I told him what my ring size was. I think I kind of might have got it a little wrong because it feels like it could be like just a quarter size smaller. It like can move a little bit, but it is hard to get off. So I think it's fine. I know I keep like flip-flopping, but also your fingers kind of like swell and like slim down a little bit every now and then. But will your wedding band sit flush / what kind of band do you want? So because my ring is so low profile, like one of the things I'm obsessed about it doesn't sit like high on the prongs, kind of like this. So it's built kind of down because it's like bezeled, and it's meant to sit really low profile. So the downside with that is your wedding band is not going to sit flush, but honestly, it really doesn't bug me that much. Also because it's an East-West and it's not like an emerald that's vertical and low profile. It's like there isn't much for there to be like a gap anyways. It looks like it's about like a quarter of an inch. And that personally won't bother me as much as if my ring was like large and up and kind of getting stuck on things. So obviously I've had someone ask, how many carats, cut, color, clarity, stats please. So stats please, I'm assuming you mean all those fun things. So I know what the stats are because I helped pick it. So when I say that I was involved in the process, like we actually looked, not in person because the company we went with is based in New York, but we got to see videos of all the diamonds online and all the stats. And something that was really, really important to me was the length and width ratio of the diamond. So that is exactly what it sounds like. It's when you have a diamond like an emerald that's a rectangle, you can have a length to width ratio that makes it a little square, or a length to width ratio that makes it like very thin and elongated. So because I was doing an east-west, I wanted it to be really thin and long so it covered more of my finger. Personally, I think that makes the diamond look larger, but aside from that, I just think it makes it look really unique and like something you don't see as often. So that was number one for me when we were working with the company we went with. I said length width ratio, number one. I wanted something ideally above a carat or around a carat. Okay, so stats. This is kind of where you get into like the nitty gritty, where you can like really spend a lot of money or really save a lot of money depending on what it is you're prioritizing. And I personally think people shouldn't get as caught up on the stats, because it's when you see the actual diamond, they might say like this is a some whatever color or this is a whatever clarity, but it like as long as that specific diamond is good, that's kind of all that matters. So I will give you the stats and I can kind of show you where we saved some money. So cut, obviously it's an emerald cut. How many carats? So my ring is 1.29 carats, so just under 3, 1.3. Personally, I think like if you're on the cusp of like a little bit of a jump, like 1.28 versus 1.3, it's like definitely a price difference and you don't notice the difference at all. The thing also, because the depth of the diamond, my diamond in particular is a little bit shorter, the face holds most of the carats, which makes it look larger. So generally the reason why you want a higher carat is because you want your diamond to look larger, but the carat is the weight of the diamond. So some diamonds are very bottom heavy and you can have like a 2 carat diamond that looks way smaller than that and you're kind of wasting your money at that point. Okay, so clarity. Now, because I went with an emerald, clarity was going to be kind of like more important just because it really does show all the flaws. It's like you could see if there were any flaws in this. So I really wanted to go with a good quality for the clarity, just because it is an emerald. It doesn't conceal flaws very well. It's basically kind of like more see-through compared to other diamonds, if that makes sense. Like there aren't like all these little cuts bouncing the light back to you. It's like just like mirrors reflecting back the light. So if there's a scratch or like a mark on one of those little mirrors, you can really see it. So this is definitely somewhere where for me, I was like, let's get something good here. So we went with VVS1. So that means like you can't see the imperfections with the clean eye, or like you shouldn't be able to. Now at 1.29 carats and at VVS1 clarity, things could have got like really pricey. If you've ever shopped for a diamond, like, you know, like that can be an issue. And where we saved money was with the color. So the color actually is an M, which is almost what they would consider like almost going into like champagne, which I'm not gonna lie, in the beginning kind of made me a little nervous. I was always fine going with like a warmer diamond, especially because when it's set in gold, you really can't tell that much. I was low-key afraid it was going to be like yellow, but like then once I saw it in person, it looks like really icy compared to what I thought it was gonna look like. So I honestly think had we gone too high, like on the quote unquote good side in color, it would have looked almost like blue against the gold, and it would have looked like just not what I would be going for personally. So that is somewhere I definitely think you can save some money. But again, I think everything's kind of like a personal preference. I just knew that when I saw this diamond, it was just like a rendering video of it. It wasn't like an actual, she didn't have it in her possession when I first saw it. It was just the video from like the gemologist. I saw it and I was just like floored. Like I thought it was so beautiful. I just knew, like when I saw the setting that I wanted, I just like knew that was the one. Okay, we just got a couple more questions and then we're all done. Oh, Lab Mind Natural Moissanite. And then someone else asked, is it Lab Mind? So I actually always wanted to go with a Lab Mind diamond. That was something that was always kind of really important to me. And it is a natural diamond, so that's something that we unfortunately just could not compromise on. The most important thing to me was the length to width ratio, just to give it like the look that I wanted, and I had said like a minimum 1:6 ratio, and emeralds are generally between like 1.3, 1:5, and this one actually ended up being a 1:9 ratio, which is like a very thin diamond. And she kind of just let me know, like right off the bat, she was like, we're honestly just not gonna find what you want in Lab Mind. They're grown in a certain way where like the diamond chunk that they like cut from, they're all like roughly the same shape, and rarely do they ever get any that are very like thin and long. So she kind of just told me off the bat, like, you're gonna have to compromise one or the other, and I did not want to compromise on the look. I honestly don't regret it. This company sources sustainably, so I feel good about it. Not as good had we gone Lab Mind, but honestly it's something I'm gonna wear forever and pass down to our children. So I am obsessed with it and I needed to love it, obviously. I'm looking at it every day. Oh, someone asked, how did you pick what company to go with? So this is going to be our last question, and it's actually leading me into what our next video is going to be about. So the company I went with is called Frank Darling. This is the box that the ring came in that Graham hid in our basement, and I just like never saw it. I just assumed he was hiding it at like my parents' house or his parents' house, so I didn't even think to look. Also, like I didn't want to ruin my surprise, so I didn't want to look, but I didn't even think it was in our house. But the company I went with is called Frank Darling, and I chose them because I was doing a lot of research on a lot of companies. I knew I didn't want to pick a larger company. This company is fairly new, and what I particularly liked about this company is they were not funded by venture capitalists. They're women-owned. They're still like under 5 years, and the whole time we were working and designing my ring, we were talking back and forth with the owner of the company, Keegan. She was so amazing, so insightful, messaging us on like weekends, like Saturdays, evenings, back and forth, like was always there to answer our questions. And I was just so insanely pleased. Like the second we decided to go with them, just like the way I felt like the customer service was, and she was very honest in some areas, and like saying, for example, you're not going to find what you want in a Lab Mind, not going to happen, or we can compromise on these areas to get the look that you want in your budget. Like it's all about finding where to compromise to be in that budget that you want. So I don't want to mention like too much about this company because I do want to do a whole video just on them and like my experience working with them, because they are so new. When I went to find any sort of like resource, whether it be on like YouTube or Reddit or anything, I really couldn't find much out there. So I really want to kind of like ease anyone's mind who's deciding to go with Frank Darling, because they are phenomenal. I enjoyed working with them so much. So that is it for our question period. This is the first video in my wedding series installment. So next we'll be having a Frank Darling video, and although we probably should have started with the proposal story, I need to get Graham on board with me to do that video. So if you enjoyed this video and you can't wait to see more, please subscribe to my channel. I also do some business stuff. I also have a dog grooming video on my channel. I do a little bit of everything, and you know, just like taking you guys along for the ride. So thank you so much for watching, and we are gonna sign off, and we're gonna sign off to another beautiful close-up of my ring. Bye guys.